What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage. Today we're doing another set overview, looking over the set we're going to be getting, The Fruit of Grisaia, which was based off of like a visual novel, and then it got an anime. It is coming out on May 19th of this year, so I actually thought this was a much older set, but I did take a sneak peek in this. This is a lot newer than I realized. It has 2 standby triggers in here. I was actually kind of surprised on that. So yeah, it's a 100 card set. I remember going over the trial deck, and I was not impressed by the trial deck in any shape, form, or fashion. So I'm not even going to worry about that one. It had like no plussing combo, if I remember correctly. I could be completely wrong, but I remember looking over it and not liking it. I looked over it like probably like a month ago. So it's whatever. But let us take a look-see here at this. I'm just going to do kind of a little overview, checking out each of the double rares, and then I will go through the rest of the set myself and see if there's any other cards of note or of significance, and then we'll showcase that before the end of the video. I can talk. So let's just jump right into it. I don't remember the premise of the show other than like there was one dude and a whole bunch of girls, so some harem bullshit. We're gonna start with the yellows. I remember the Michiru character. I thought she was kind of cool. Let's see. Let's check the first 5 because typically all the double rares are in the first 5 of each color. This set does have all 4 colors as well. So, Machina under intensive production. First double rare is 001K. When this attacks, look up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose one amongst them, put it on top of the deck, and put the rest into your waiting room. At the start of your opponent's draw phase, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's level 1 or higher, bounce this back to hand. This is pretty good. This is your typical like good like bouncing back. So it does. I guess that's a bounce runner. It's like a runner. I know this type of effect has been around since like Bang Dream and whatnot first dropped. There was like I think it was the Yukina. It was a Renko. It was a Renko. It was like the first time I ever saw that effect. And just like bounce back to hand and whatnot. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that's okay. First double rare. And then the second one is Michiru to the Sparkling Sea. Very nice art. 1045. You have 2 or more other Grisaia characters that this gains 1,000 power. Grisaia is probably going to be like music for the entire set. It's probably going to be the universal. When this attacks, if Dangerous Airmat is in your climax zone and you have another Grisaia character, put the top 2 cards of your library in the waiting room. Choose up to 1 level X or lower Grisaia character in your waiting room, return it to hand. X is equal to the number of the levels of the cards put into the waiting room by this effect. Okay. It's like the Yotsuba, the trial deck Yotsuba. So that's pretty cool. Pretty good so far. Not like super overwhelming, but pretty decent. Kazuki, the Fruit That God Holds. 3/2 if there's 9/5 if there's 2 or fewer climaxes, early play. This is placed on stage from hand, gains 1,500 power, and it's a Musashi. Okay, during the turn this is placed from hand to stage. When damage dealt by this is canceled, put the top card of your deck into the waiting room. Deal X damage to your opponent. X plus 1. X is equal to level plus the level 1 plus the level of that card. I don't know why I can't talk today. So it's an early play Musashi. Pretty cool. And that's it for the double rares, but we will showcase these last 2 rares. We have Kazuki, Goodbye, and a Promise. Looks like she broke her arm. Okay. 0025, when this becomes reversed in battle, you may pay 1 stock. If you do, send it to memory, having Angel Beats vibes here. If this is in memory, when a card... Oh, shit. Oh, shit! Okay. If this is in memory, when a card in either player's clock is moved to the waiting room due to an effect of a card of its owners, that player may discard a card from their hand to their waiting room. If not, that player puts the top card of the library in clock. We are bringing back Heel Tax. Okay. I did not know Heel Tax was in this set. For anyone who doesn't know what Heel Tax is, there's a level 0 Hibiki from the very first Kantai collection set. Which is, well, that and there's a Ryuko, I think, from Kill la Kill that also has it. But they make it so your opponent has to pay stock if they go to heal. This makes it so your opponent has to discard Okay, it's specifically when a card is moved from clock to waiting room. So, stock healers, or even like the memory, like there's like I've seen one or two memory healers before. So those won't trigger this, but your basic generic just heal one, send it to waiting room will trigger this, where you have to discard. Now, I guess at that point it's no different than playing like the stock healers, like the Suisei from Hololive. I guess it's no different from doing that at that point, but it's a heal tax nonetheless. I haven't seen this in a hot minute, so I also really like just okay. It goes to memory, so it's a little bit of compression, and it just stays in memory and has that constant. Now, if it's ruled the same way that the Hibiki was, if you get multiple of these to go off, this stacks. This will stack. To my knowledge, if I'm wrong, if there's been a ruling change or something, I'm sorry. But I remember when I was playing and I got into Kantai, if you had multiple of that Hibiki in memory and your opponent tried to do the heal, it went off multiple times. It was crazy. Okay. Oh, God. I'm just like, okay, already impressed. That is impressive to bring back heal tax. It might be not big to you, but it's big to me. Then we have Machina. I thought I said Makima for a second. I was like, wait a minute. Woof woof. Machina observing the setting sun after school. 104k. For each feeding, which I'm assuming is like an event in your memory, this gains 1,000 power. When this attacks, if authentic combat training is in your climax zone, choose a level X or lower Grisaia character in your waiting room. Return it to your hand. X is equal to the number of cards in your memory. So that heal tax bish goes towards that. I'm assuming this feeding is an event. That goes towards it. So let's look for that real quick. Feeding. Yep, I was correct. It's an event, and the climax combo is off of authentic combat training. And dangerous air mat was the Michiru. Let's look at that real quick. Oh, that's a choice. So this is also new enough to have choice. We're going to get that art off the screen. Authentic combat training for this one is a spin trigger. So it's a 1k1 spin. Feeding, it's a 1/1 yellow event. Choose a Grisaia character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. Send this to memory. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 0 or lower character, put it into your stock. So it has a chance. It's a salvage, and it has a chance of regaining, paying for the stock that you paid to play the card. Okay. I'm kind of on board with this so far. Yeah, so far I'm actually like kind of impressed. So that means over the course of the game, the more feedings that you play, assuming there's probably like a card to grab feeding from like waiting room or something to your hand, this could gain a total of plus 4,000 power. You just need 3 for this to be able to grab any Grisaia character on attack. But you can, like I said, you can, at that point she's a minimum of a 7k. The climax is a 1k1. If you could be swinging with a 109k like later on in the game. But that's actually kind of crazy. I like that. Especially because like with feeding, you could get copies of her because it salvages back. Get copies of her, drop 3 copies of her, and she's just like fucking huge. Okay, cool. I am so far awesome. I'm so far like very interested. So then we're going to go to green and show off the first like 5 cards to see if all the double rares are in there. And the first one is Yuji, which was like main protagonist dude. Derived Conclusion. So 1045. It doesn't have a climax combo. When this is placed on stage from hand, it's a drop searcher level 1. Okay. Pay 1, pitch 1, search for Grisaia. When this attacks, if you have another Grisaia, gains 1500 power. So it's a 1/0 drop searcher that becomes a 106k. Okay. It's just weird to see that on a double rare. Okay. Then we have Yumiko, Forever Alone Temperament. It's all good. We're all forever alone, Yumiko. 1045. This is a rare. So the Yuji was the only double rare in green. Okay, wonky. 1045. Turn it's placed on stage from hand, gains 1500 power. When the battle opponent becomes reversed, hey, on reverse climax combos. Under the Bridge as Thunder Roars is in the climax zone. Put up to 1 card from the top of your library into your stock, so blind stock. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's level 1 or higher, put it into your hand. Okay, that's not bad, but you have to reverse. It's kind of wonky. Okay, yeah. Kazuki during calm days is a 1/0. Yeah, it's a rare. On play, gains 500 times the number of your Grisaia characters. It does count herself, so she's at least going to be a 5k. She's going to be bigger than that, but still. When damage dealt by this is cancelled, if Wish to Cling is in your climax zone, choose up to 2 Grisaia characters in your waiting room, put them into your stock in any order. It's like what was her name? It was like Kokoro. It was like a climax combo from Bang Dream, where if the damage got canceled, you got to salvage a character. But it's for free otherwise, because it only activates up to once per turn, but you don't get or for this obviously because it's only going to happen once. But it's like, oh, if the damage sticks, the damage sticks. If it doesn't, you get free stock. So pretty cool. You don't have to pay any other cost. I kind of like it. It's not the best in the world, but that's very interesting. Machina, Innocent Heart, 3/2/7/5. If you have 4 or more other Grisaias, this gets -1 level in hand. If you have 2 or more cards in memory, this gains 3,000 power, making her a 10/5 early play and heal on play. This heals, once again, this heals from clock to waiting room, so this can trigger your own heal tax if you have that. Same. Especially because this does work off of memory. Maybe this... I wonder if there's any cards that benefit off of being discarded by a card effect? Like some Dark World level shenanigans? Where your own heal tax benefits you. Maybe that's thinking too much, but that would be cool. And when I look through the rest of the set, I will look for stuff like that. Amane, Offensive Posture is a 3/2/10k. We have a climax combo. Only a climax combo when this this ability activates up to once per turn. No, once per turn. At the end of this card's attack, if Ticket to Heaven is in your climax zone, you can pay 2, pitch 1, look at the top card of your opponent's library, put it on the top or bottom, and then stand this. So you get to top check, see if it's like a climax or something, get it out the way. And then you restand. Okay. It doesn't have to reverse, it's just at the end of its attack. That's pretty cool. And it's a fairly low cost for only having to pay 2, pitch 1, stand. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. So then we have the reds. I'll check first 5 just to get the double rares out the way. I was kind of surprised that green only had the 1 double rare. Kind of wonky. That is 5, but this has an SR. There's a lot of it. I'll see if there's more double rares in red. So Amane holding on to love, ain't we all, is a 0/0/2/5. When it becomes reverse, reveal the top 3, add a Grisaia amongst them to hand, and then discard a card. Okay, cool. Understandable. Let's see. We have more than 1 double rare. We are already progressing. Sachi, Loved Maid. Oh, I remember hearing about Sachi. She's cool. 1/0/4k. For each of your other Grisaias, gains 500 power. So it can become a 1/0/6k. When Park in the Sunshine is placed in your climax zone, if this is in your front row, and you have another Grisaia, perform one of the following 2 effects. Either return a Sachin Cooking from the waiting room to hand, which might be an event, or search your library for a Sachin Cooking and add it to your hand as well. So Sachin Cooking, I guess we have to look and see. Yep, it is an event. And that is a 1/0 red event. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your waiting room. Choose up to 1 level X or lower Grisaia character in your waiting room. Return it to your hand. X is equal to the sum of the levels of the cards put into the waiting room by this effect. Okay. So it's like it's just with an extra. It's like the Yotsuba effect, like I stated before. It just is an extra step in the events. That's pretty cool. What was the climax again? Was Park in the Sunshine. While we're down here, I think this is one of the standbys. No, this is a salvage. Okay, so the other two red climax combos are going to be standby. But it works off as salvage. That's cool. A 1/1 Amane Fruit of Confession 4/5. It is a level assist. And when Night of the Summer Festival is placed in your climax zone, discard a Grisaia. If you do, choose one of your other characters. Stand it. Okay, so it stands. That's not bad. And that might have been the last double rare. Might have been a rare. I didn't check. Sachi, Fruit of Confession. So you got an apple, so 001k. Experience, if the sum of levels in your level zone is 5 or higher, so this is not happening until minimum level 2. Choose one of the following 2 effects and perform it. Okay. Oh, okay, so it's an act ability. Pay 1, rest this. If your experience is 5 or higher, you get to pick one of the effects. If your experience is 4 or lower, your opponent chooses one of the effects. That is an interesting little stipulation there. So the 2 effects are choose up to 2 of your Grisaia characters, and for the turn they gain +1 soul. See, if your opponent chooses the effect, does your opponent choose which Grisaia characters? And then the other one is reveal the top card of your library. If it's a Grisaia character or an event, put it into your hand. I'm assuming your opponent just chooses which effect goes off, but you choose the targets. Like if they choose the +1 soul, I don't think they're going to be like, oh, cool, I get to also pick which ones get plus soul. Okay. It says you perform that effect. So they get to pick which goes off, but you perform it. So they choose the plus soul effect. You get to pick which characters. Okay, cool. I just had to make certain I was reading it correct. Amane, Eternal Punishment, is a 0015. We got 3 different act abilities. Pay 1, sack this. Look it up to 4, add a Grisaia. Rest this to give a character 500 times that character's level. Or pay 1 to send a level 0 or lower character in your opponent's front row to the waiting room. Okay, that's it for the reds for now. To the blues. Dabba-dee. Dabba-die. So, we have a Kazuki Genius in both name and reality. Is a 001k. When this is placed from hand to stage, put the top 2 cards of your library in the waiting room. If there were at least 1 climax card amongst them, choose one of your characters and that character gets 1500 power. When one of your other Grisaia characters is frontal attacked, pay 1, send this to memory. If you do, return that character to your hand. More cards to put into memory for your other effects like that. Okay. Then Yumiko, Fruit of Confession. We're still in double rares. It's a 0015. Brainstormer. Look at when it's placed on hand from stage, look at top card of your library, put it on top or bottom. Brainstorm, pay 1, rest this, mill 4 for each climax. Search your deck for a Grisaia. Okay. Yumiko, that is French, and I can't pronounce that. We have a 3/2 10k. When this is placed from hand to stage, you can discard a card to heal the top card of your clock to your stock. So that'll get around the heal tax thing. When this attacks, if the climax is in your climax zone, pay 1. If so, for this turn, this gains 2k power, and choose one of the following 2 effects and perform it. First effect is put all of your opponent's stock into their waiting room, then they move the same number of cards from the top of their deck to their stock, or deal 1 damage. So either make them, it's like the bread event from Bang Dream, the buns for luck or something. So it's like, oh, I'm just gonna, fuck over your entire clean, you have a lot of clean stock there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. That's pretty cool. That's honestly not bad. For a double rare, that's pretty cool. So you get the option of that or burn, so that's cool. Yumiko, Shadow that extends in the dusk. This is a rare. The 002k. When this is placed from hand to stage, you can discard a Grisaia character, look at up to 3 cards from the top of the deck, choose one of them, put it into your hand, put the rest in the waiting room. So you have to put a Grisaia character from your hand to your clock. If I said to the waiting room, I'm sorry. So you deal yourself a damage to top check 3 and add any 1 card to your hand. That's pretty cool. And lastly, Climax combo. We have Yuji Dashing as a 1045. When your climax is placed in the climax zone, this gains 1500 power for the turn. When the battle opponent becomes reversed, if before we face each other is in your climax zone, until the next end of your opponent's turn, this gains the ability, when this is front attacked, choose one of your characters and return them to your hand. So there's no plussing off of this one, but you bounce cards back to hand. It's whatever. I guess it's because if you can get the effect to go off multiple times type thing, it's kind of cool. But, it's whatever. So yeah, that's it for the blue. Uh, let's see. We got some promos. I will go over the promos really quick. And then I'm going to look through the rest of the set. Amane, Bath for 2. A free runner, but it runs in front of a character. Okay. Michiru from an end and a beginning. I think that's mispronounced. I think that's mistranslated. When it's played, give a Grisaia character 2k power, one of your other Grisaia characters, so you can't give it to herself. Sachi Drowsy. 1055. If you do not have any other Grisaias, this doesn't stand. You're going to have the Grisaia, that's whatever. When you play an event, this gains 2k power for the turn. Okay, interesting. And Makima, Clumsy Thanks. 2175. During your turn, for each of your other Grisaias, gains 1,000. Okay. And now I'm going to go through the rest of the set, starting with the yellows and everything, and I will see if there's any other interesting cards. Whichever ones I find, I'll showcase really quick. But overall, I will say, before we look at the rest of the cards, I'm liking a bunch of the cards in here. And let's get to checking out the rest of them now. Alright, and I have gone through the rest of the set now, and I've found a couple other cards that I felt are a little bit worthy of note, just for the hell of it. And there was a lot that was unimpressive. There was a lot that... It still has, like I said, it has 2 standby, so it has good standby targets. It has other neat little climax combos. And I'm going to showcase a couple of those right quick right here. So in yellow, we had Machina, Fruit of Confession, Heal on Play. And when this attacks, if Sleepy Eyes is in your climax zone, you may pay the cost. If so, choose one of your characters, and for the turn, that character gains the following ability. This ability activates up to once per turn. When this card's damage is canceled, you may deal the same amount of damage to your opponent. So it's kind of like we get to try to poke twice. Like if the first one doesn't work, it goes through. But you get to pick a character and give it to that character, which is pretty neat. So just showcasing that one. As part of the feeding event effects, this 2/1 Amane and Machina is a 2165 that gains 1500 power for each copy of feeding in your memory. If you're already doing that for the level 1, this can also get pretty big, so I felt this was worth noting. So if you have 2 of them in there, that's plus 3000, making it a 2195. You have a full 4 copies in there, that is plus 6,000, making it a 21125. Not saying that's going to happen a whole bunch, but for an uncommon, I thought this was kind of cool. Since if you already base it off of like the level 1, that gets like the bonus from feeding being in memory and everything, you could possibly build upon that and make even bigger walls. So then there was this. There was Tuna Man. Fresh Fish Superman. No, I have not hopped to a different set. This is Grisaia. I don't know why this is in here. I don't know the context of this at all. But it's a 2/2 yellow event. Choose up to 5 of your characters. Put them into the waiting room. Deal X damage to your opponent. X is equal to the number of characters placed in the waiting room by this effect. It was too funny not to say, so I had to. We're going to leave this up for later. Then we have into the reds, Amane, Naughty Older Sister. It is a 2500 backup. Oh, I didn't pull that up. Kazuki Psychology Test. I think that was red. No, it is a green. Pull that up. So when you use this backup for this, you can discard this Kazuki Psychology Test. If so, return all cards in your waiting room to your library and shuffle your library. So it's a free fresh. The Kazuki Psychology Test is a mid, uncommon. When this is placed from hand to stage, pay 1, put the top card of your library into clock, and salvage back a Grisaia character. It's okay. It's not the worst in the world, but because you can, there's a free fresh backup, I figured that was worth noting. And the Kazuki is a level 0, so it's like you can probably run it in the deck anyway. So regardless, 2500 backup, and if you're able to pull that off, all the better. Then we have this Michiru, which does combo with this other level 3 right here. So Michiru, Observing the Setting Sun After School. This is one of the cards that combos with one of the standbys. During your turn, when the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, you can pay 1 stock to burn for 1. This is also 10k if I didn't say. At the beginning of your encore step, if Tearfully Begging is in your climax zone, you can pay 2 and discard 2 Grisaia characters. If so, deal 4 damage to your opponent, and then swap it with this other level 3 Michiru. And this particular Michiru is at the start of your opponent's draw phase. If this is in the front row, choose one of your characters. That character gains 4k power till end of turn. So she could potentially survive, which is interesting for the second effect, which is at the start of the climax phase, you can sack her to summon this Michiru back to the field. So it's a neat little swap out effect. It's not the greatest in the world, but since this does work off of the standby, I figured it was worth mentioning. So it's kind of whatever, but you know, once again, the little swap, and this can become, you can choose itself for the 4k buff. Survive, as long as this is in your waiting room the next turn, you can summon it back and do the same shenanigans. So kind of cool in that regard. I figured I might as well showcase it. And lastly is, if you turn around, you have happiness. It's a level 2 event, 4 stock with Sachi holding a baseball bat. Don't know what's going on there. But it's a counter event. Choose one of your opponents and rest it. It has a tap count. There's a money tap counter in this set. So figured I'd showcase that. And that is going to be the set. We're just going to end on Tuna Man here. It is okay. It is better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be complete and total ass. I'll be real. Because I really hadn't looked into anything, but we have Heel Tax, we have Tuna Man, we have other cards in here that are pretty good. There's a couple different effects that I'm interested in. I'm not saying I'm going to be building a deck anytime soon, but because I think the Grisaia deck, I think Grisaia is on the Weiss Schwarz simulator, so I'll at least be messing with cards up there, if nothing else. So this is pretty cool. But yeah, just wanted to kind of showcase some of these, and I wasn't expecting some of the stuff in here that I ended up seeing, like what you see on the screen right now. But yeah, with that, I will be we'll be signing off for now. This was pretty cool. This is Grisaia should be interesting when it drops. Once again, that's dropping May 19th. And yeah, thank y'all very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If not, hey, maybe go to the description and join our Discord. That would be really cool. We got a bunch of stuff going on in there, trying to become way more active than I used to be. The Discord's actually been around since before the hiatus, just saying. It's been around for a hot minute. But yeah, thank y'all very much for watching, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace out for now.